don't like my hair.
Hello, everyone. It is 5 o'clock on 5 o'clock Pacific time. One of these days. 6 o'clock Mountain Time, 7 o'clock Standard Time, 8 o'clock on the East Coast, and it is time for Train with the Coaches. I'm Coach Jeff.
I'm Coach Sherry Ann.
And we welcome you to tonight's show. As always, on Train with the Coaches, we talk about anything that Sherry Ann and I find particularly interesting to talk about. That has to do with running, triathlon, nutrition, anything endurance sports related. And hopefully tonight we're going to have a great show with some of our teammates stopping in to talk about what they do, what they like to do, why they choose the event that they choose, and maybe ask some questions about some of the events that they don't choose. We'll just hope that the whole Google Hangout thing cooperates with us tonight. And it's not working like it did last night, George said. Well, I don't understand. Maybe we're going to have to wing it and maybe we're going to have to stop using Google Hangouts because it doesn't seem like we get a lot of cooperation from Google Hangouts, does it?
Well, it seems that way, but we did a trial and error yesterday, and it worked all right. So I don't know what the deal is.
Well, maybe we have to post this link, the link of that. We'll try it again. I'm going to try this again this way while you talk. What's new in your life?
What's new in my life? There's always something new, it feels like, with 3 kids. I mean, it's so funny because I train a lot, and especially being an Ironman athlete and then now training for ultras and now training for Patagonia and juggling 3 children's schedule with running a business and doing my own schedule. It's a challenge. It's a big challenge, but I love it. So, but going into summer, we've got 2 weeks left of school here in Arizona, and then it's summertime and things get changed up a little bit during the summertime. So it's a little bit more of a challenge, but I like challenges.
Yeah, that's a really interesting thing because, you do have 3 kids and they're all about to get out of school at the same time. Now to me, I'm a big proponent of year-round boarding school. And if they can't go to boarding school in the States year-round, then when the summer comes, they have these things they call camps. And, camp here, camp there, you have them around for a couple of days and off to the next camp. But you're actually a good parent. So.
Yeah, I actually let my kids veg for a little bit. I do put them in a sports camp at the very beginning of summer just to kind of give them something to do. And then we veg, and I kind of fly by the seat of my pants in the sense of, like, because they want to go on vacation. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, we'll go somewhere. I just don't know where we'll go yet. And I usually decide the week of that we're going somewhere. Or, I might give myself a week of prep. But we'll do some camping this summer. But I think summer is a time to just not have a schedule for a child because I have great memories of summertime of just being. And I want my kids to have that. So yeah, we'll go camping, we'll hang out, we'll stay up late, sleep in.
Maybe we can bring them up here and we'll go camp out at Mount Hood and do some running around Mount Hood.
Ooh, that's extremely tempting.
Yeah. And you know me with camping, that'll be a pretty nice cabin. So.
Well, yeah, for those of you that don't know, Coach Jeff does not camp.
Homie doesn't sleep on the ground.
I like camping. I think it's one of my favorite things. But I love being outdoors. If I could live outdoors all the time, I would.
Yeah, I like fish, but that doesn't mean I have to catch them. That's let someone else do that. And I like the outdoors. Doesn't mean I have to sleep in it. So I've never got. It's funny. I've never been. Even as a kid, I was never into camping. But I grew up in the city, but I was never into camping. I admire people who do it. To me, camping is a Ragnar relay. That's camping to me. That's as roughing it as I ever want to get.
No, but on that note though, it does make summer a bit interesting as far as training, because I do like a schedule when it comes to training, and I still follow a schedule, but I have to be a little more flexible for those 10 weeks of summer. And it took a while to get adjusted to that in the sense of not letting it control my mood. Because if I didn't get a workout in, I was like, oh. But I don't know, it might be my age, but I've just kind of mellowed with it a little bit. Like, okay, you know what? I know what I can do at a race. If I miss a workout, I miss a workout. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I'm pretty much that way too. It's like I missed one today because I ran 4 days in a row and I was pretty beat up. And my bike's still in the shop and I had a ride on the schedule today, but I couldn't do that without a bike. So I got up to run. I said, well, I'll go run instead. And I said, no, I just don't feel like it today, and so I didn't. And I think there has to be that kind of mentally. You have to have that kind of flexibility. I think if you're gonna, I hear it all the time, and we'll talk about this because I put something up on our team page the other day about it. People, they lose their love of running or their joy of their running because they're training and da. And I got to tell you, I don't want to hear that. I mean, if you lost your love of running, don't blame it on the training. If you lost your love of cycling, don't blame it on the training. It's all in your head. And I think too many people, they train with expectations of what training days are supposed to be like, rather than just going out and executing the training day. You just go out and execute the training day. I don't care what the results of a training day are, other than the fact that you executed the training day. If you have a zone 2 run, just go run for zone 2. Who the heck cares how fast it is?
Right.
There's no benefit in pace work, and you and I both know that, and we subscribe to that when we train people. You got a zone 2 run, it's the effort that counts. And if you're in zone 2, and I don't care if it's a 10-minute mile day or if it's a 6-minute mile day, you're in zone 2. And the problem people get with, oh, I lost my love. And I'm sorry, there's probably some people who are going to scream at me about this, and they're probably quitting the team already. But I lost my love of running because the training is doing. I got to know. You lost your love of running because you lost your love of running, and because you're putting too much pressure on it. And you got to realistically, you're not a professional athlete, and you're not doing this for a livelihood. You're doing it to have fun. And the training is the means to the end, and that should be fun as well. And when you go out and you do your runs, that's the thing. I go out and run. I turn my watch on and I hit the path and I go.
Yeah.
And when I get back, I go, oh, well, I guess I wasn't feeling so good today. And I go, wow, that's a surprise. That's the way I do it, and that's the way when I was younger and I ran competitively, I would go out and, and I had expectations then, but we didn't understand effort-based training back when I was running. Mm-hmm. And my whole thing was go out and, hit those mile splits, and then I was always running at race pace, and, I never got any faster than what I was. And today I don't do it that way, and I don't put that kind of pressure on myself. And I don't put that kind of pressure on the people I train. Tori's in the chat room. We'll talk to Tori in a second. Tori calls me up. She says, hey, Coach, I'm tired and I need a day off. I say, take it.
Yeah.
Take it. Don't kill yourself for doing it. Take it. If you're tired, take a day off. If you're tired, tell me. And any athlete that I've ever worked with, I said, if you're tired, tell me. That's the key word that I'm looking for in logs.
Right.
I always say log all the time. If I see that word tired, if I see that word hurt, I'm instantly on that. It's like, okay, you're tired. Why are you tired?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't sleep last night, or are you tired physically? And if you're tired physically, let's shut down for a day. If you're tired mentally, let's shut it down for a day, even 2 days. Mm-hmm. You're going to lose a world of fitness in a day or two of taking a rest. You'll probably come out of it stronger for the better. Right. And in the long run, you won't be blaming training for your hate of life.
Right. Well, I think there's too many people that go out and try to pound it every time they're out training. And it's like every training day is race day. And if they're not getting better, they're getting worse. And it's just, you can't do that. There's so many variables when you're training: sleep, nutrition, what you did the day before. And I think there's too many people that look at metrics. And it's great to have, all the metrics that come with, when you're using a Garmin or any kind of really mini computer on your wrist or your bike. Those are great to have, but at the same time, you've got to let go of them sometimes, because sometimes if you're married to those numbers, it's going to hurt your training in the end, just because you're so reliant upon them. And I mean, I'll never forget. I mean, I think it was Nathan on the team, or who was it that lost their watch, or their watch got totally smashed. But I could relate to that because at Oceanside in 2013, my watch popped off. The pin just broke that snapped it into the quick, and it went flying. And I didn't even really notice it until a few minutes later when I looked down to see what my numbers were, and my watch was gone. And I was like, oh, crap, because I was so reliant upon those numbers. That completely shifted the way I could race and had to race. And then coming out of that, I was like, oh, I need to let go of the numbers most of the time. They're good to have some of the time, but there's got to be times when you're just like, oh, I'm going to go off a feel. I'm not going to be married to these numbers and trying to beat them every time, because that will suck the love out of it for you too.
You know, yeah, exactly. And you make a good point, because people, and this is something we're trying to teach people more and more all the time now, is getting in touch with your biofeedback.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're out there working out, don't look at the watch, listen to your body.
Yeah.
And then when you get done, then look at the watch and see what the watch told you, and see how well you understand your body. Because most people don't understand their body. And that's why they're so dependent on that watch. And as you said, if you're out there and you're in the middle of a race and the watch craps out, if you don't understand what your body's telling you, you're probably going to go too hard, or you're going to go way too easy, and have, you know, a really bad racing experience. You know, when I ran across country this year, I probably did, I don't know, 8 or 9, 10 races, you know, as I was going across the country. And, you know, I ran half marathons, and I run a race, I don't ever look at my watch when I'm racing. Everything's about feel. I paced Ellen on one of the races. She wanted to run a sub 150 half marathon. She's been trying to do that for 3 years. And I said, well, let's start out with a 150 pacer, and then we'll drop him at about 10 miles. We'll see. Well, this guy at mile 1, I realized he wasn't running right. And so I said, okay, Ellen, just stick with me. I didn't look at my watch for the next 12 miles. I just ran. Yeah. And, you know, and we got to the finish line in 148, and it was a steady pace all the way, because I understand. You know, I'm so in tune over the years with my biofeedback, and I know exactly how fast I'm running and what effort I'm at. And I don't have to look at my watch until the race up. I think I looked at my watch at mile 12 because I wanted to make sure that Ellen was going to get in on it. You know, that was about that. I think it was the only time I looked. And more and more people need to lead that. You learn to listen to your body. Your body's going to tell you the story. It's just like learning to listen to your feet when you're running. You know, learn to listen to your body when you run, when you ride, because it's telling you the story. Look at the data afterwards, and then you probably won't get crippled mentally and emotionally. So look, yeah, people in the chat room, and you know, tonight we wanted to talk, and I'm going to pick on Tori first because I like Tori, and not that I don't like everyone else who's in there. Don't get me wrong, but I like Tori, one of my athletes, and I get to work with her, and so let's find out why Tori got into triathlon. Well, I'm going to bring her into the picture here. Hopefully this is going to work well. Tori, can you hear me? You can hear me.
Hi, I can hear you guys.
Oh, there you are now.
Yeah.
So Tori, tell us the story of how you got into triathlon, because you're a triathlete.
I just moved to Key West, and I met a girl. She was my first friend here, and she is an obese girl. I can use that term. She's over 300 pounds at about 5'3". So that is obese. And she said, "Hey, you're pretty fit. I want to do a triathlon. I want to do a 70.3. I want to do Augusta." And I said, "That sounds fun." So I came home and signed up for Augusta. I didn't own a bike, and I didn't know how to swim, and that's how it happened. Is I thought here's this girl who's obese who wants to do 70.3, so why not? And Coach Christina was a friend of mine, and so I just asked Coach Christina to coach me and to coach my friend, and she took us on as clients. And I think I'd been signed up for the race about 6 weeks before I even got a bike fit to start looking at bikes, and I didn't own a bike for the first 2 months of my training.
That's awesome. So what? So then, did Coach Christina coach you and this friend of yours all the way through to Augusta?
She did. She coached us all the way to Augusta. She came to Augusta and cheered us on through the finish line. My friend ended up making the cutoff by mere minutes. Come to find out, she was 4 weeks pregnant at the time, and her morning sickness struck as she got on the bike, and she had morning sickness for about the next 6.5 hours from the bike and the half marathon.
So how long ago was that for you?
So we signed up in May of 2014 for Augusta, and then Augusta was in September, so it's been just a year.
Nice. And have you done another 70.3 since?
Oh, I have. I just did Ironman Haines City, which was a 70.3. Ironman Florida, it was in Haines City. It was a 70.3. It was definitely my most mentally challenging moment in life because I earned my first DNF, which is still a little bitter, but that swim cutoff that Ironman decided to come up with caught me this year, and I came out of the water 71 seconds past the cutoff. But I went on to ride the bike and got a 22-minute PR on the bike, and then just ran a half marathon to get across the finish line.
See, I love that you went ahead and got on the bike and that you did that and you just crushed the bike for you and then went ahead and went and did your run. I thought I was so proud of you, and I thought that was so admirable of you to just go, all right, well, swim didn't quite work out, but I came here to do this and I'm going to do it. And I thought that said so much about your character.
Well, thanks. You know, I look at the pictures that the race photographer took of me coming out of the water, and I haven't shared them with anyone because you can see the devastation on my face. You can see the realization as I'm coming out of the water, and you can see me trying to hold back just that moment of sheer just temper tantrum, want to cry. And so you can see in the pictures that they captured, you can see all of that. And I let myself have that pity moment running through transition. And I let myself have that pity moment for about the first 5 miles on the bike, and then I just said, you know what, you got to get this bike done. It's get over it, get the bike done. And so that was just my mental state at that point. But the fact that the pictures caught it were tremendous for me.
Mm. So what made, if you don't, do you mind me asking you questions about it? About that day?
Not at all.
Because I think that it speaks really, like I said, really highly of your character, but also I think that there's a lot of people that will listen to this that will learn and gain so much from what you went through. And because I think it takes a lot to come out of the water, have that moment, but still get on your bike. So my question for you is, what made you go ahead and get on your bike?
You know, that's a tough one. I had been listening to, I'd been watching some CrossFit videos, and one of my favorite CrossFit athletes was coming back from an injury, and she had this mantra that she had talked about of just don't put the bar down, just don't quit. And in that split second of me deciding whether or not I was going to continue the race, it was, I have so many people sitting at home cheering for me that have been supporting me, and so many people waiting to see me do so well. And I didn't want to disappoint anyone. It wasn't about me. It was disappointing my fans on Facebook and my family and my training partners who had been out there with me, and I didn't want to disappoint anyone. So I just got on the bike.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And you did a great job. You really did.
Thanks.
But now we're on to bigger and better things.
I was going to say, what's next for you?
I head to Wiesbaden, Germany for the Ironman 70.3 European Championships. The race is the weekend of August 9th, and I'm going to be meeting some other teammates out there. Our Team Turkey teammates are going to be out there, and you know, I'm working hard. I have huge expectations. I caught the very beginning of this where Coach was saying something about having expectations and not really enjoying the training, but I have huge expectations, and I'm making sure that I don't DNF in that swim ever again.
You know, and we talk about this because we talk every day. And that's a great thing. And already you're swimming as a proof. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to say this because I'm not going to take credit for the bad swim the first time. I'm going to blame that on your other coach, who wasn't Christina, by the way. But we've already seen a major improvement in the swim times in 2 weeks. But and again, and this is one of the things, and this is one of the things I want to urge you to do is, write that goal down, and we know what your goal is. Write it down somewhere, put it on a wall, tell your friends, but don't take it with you on your workouts. You can't go into your workout, trying to achieve that goal on your workout. Your workouts just get the workout in. The numbers will take care of themselves. They always do. You see it week in and week out on this team. I'm so proud of this team, of the efforts and the results that they get week in and week out. And you just have to trust the system. And, the system will work. And you just have to trust that no matter what the number is that day, bad training days are a part of good racing. If everyone had 20 weeks of great training days, what in the heck would you ever need a coach for? What in the heck would you ever need a schedule for if everything is just going perfectly all the time? And things don't go perfectly all the time, and you just have to, when those days come, you just have to go, I go on to the next day. I say this to people all the time. Let me do the thinking, you do the training. That's all. That's the way the system works. I do the thinking, you do the training. And we don't worry about what happens on Monday and Tuesday, 14 weeks from a race. Mm-hmm. We just don't, because it really has no bearing on what's going to have a race day, other than the fact that you're conditioning. Training is conditioning, and there's good conditioning days and there's bad conditioning days, just like there's good hair days and bad hair days. And if I got up and beat myself up for every bad hair day I had, I'd be in an asylum, medicated and slobbering, because I got a lot of bad hair days. You just can't keep beating yourself up. You just have to get through each workout. You put in the effort. If you hit the effort levels, the time stuff will take care of itself. We say this over and over and over again to people. And over and over and over again, you see the results. And for you, Tori, and that's always my biggest advice, is let go of that control. Let go of that control, and that I need to have this workout come out this way, because you don't. You just need to have the workout get finished. And I'm telling you, you've already made huge strides, and we're going to make some more strides along the way. But I actually think we'll exceed your goal when we get to lead spot. Are you there?
Yeah, thanks. I'm laughing. I won't give up the control. That's just who I am, but I accept that that's who I am, and I know that that's who I am, and I manage that. And I think that's the one thing that gets me through, living on a small island that's only 8 square miles, going in circles day in and day out in my training. I can only run around the island so many times before, that gets old. Managing the expectations and knowing that the expectations are mine and mine alone and nobody else's, that's what gets me through this. And if that's one thing that I could tell anybody, is that it's okay to have expectations, but you need to be able to manage them, because if you don't manage them, then they will ruin your training and you won't enjoy what you're doing. And you'll want to quit because it's just not fun anymore. And that's all from the inside out. I don't think that's anything on the exterior or anything to your coaches. But I do have a lot of control, because I'm lazy and I will sit on my couch and eat donuts before I will get on my bike and go for a ride. So I have to have a little bit of control and keep that competitiveness within myself, because it keeps me from eating donuts.
Yeah, but what? Here's a great thing. If you go out and train every day, you can eat all the donuts you want.
There are some people that will disagree with you.
Yeah, there are people disagree with me on a lot of things that I say. I really don't. Right. I say that on here week in, week out. You can like me, you can not like me. I really don't care. My people get the results. That's all I care about. People getting results. And you know that I don't eat donuts, but especially in this house, there's no donut eating. But I just think there's a time where you got to say, hey, you know what? I'm taking this day off because I need this day off, and I'm not gonna trip on it, and I'm not gonna let it own me. I'm just gonna take the day off, and it's okay. It's okay. And you know what? And I've talked to elite athletes and professional athletes and high level athletes that we have on the team, and sometimes they take a day off. and they say, and that's all there is to it. Sherry Ann is like the worst logger in the world. So it's, and we all have our things that we do and we don't do, but at some point in time you have to give yourself a break. I mean, you have to give yourself a break mentally and emotionally. If you don't, you crack. Anyone cracks under pressure too much. That's the bottom line. People crack, and I hear it and I see it all the time, and it's because of self-inflicted pressure. Because I don't think Sherry Ann or I or any coach in this team is out there driving anyone with a whip saying, you gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go. Don't miss a workout, don't miss a workout, don't miss a workout. And I think sometimes you gotta have a beer. That's just the way it is.
Or a glass of wine.
What?
Or a glass of wine.
Or a glass of wine, whatever it may be. No, and I think, and I agree, and Tori, I know who you are, and I understand what you want to do, and I understand that you live in a confined little world down there in Key West, because I've been to Key West, and I probably would go crazy having to run around the same circle and riding around the same circle all the time. Of course, I would like to swim in the ocean every day. That's not a big deal. Or the Gulf, right? And sometimes you should go up to South Beach, Miami, and just ride and run around there. It's a little bit more scenery, right?
Yeah, it's a little more, but that's a long drive. I'd rather ride my bike in circles than make that drive.
Well, so anyway, thanks for being on, Tori. Who wants to come on next? I think Tressy's out here. Is Tressy you still in there? Because I think Tressy is just made a commitment to do a ultra, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken, because I think, let's see what we got here. No, Tressy's not doing an ultra, but let's bring her in. Tressy, can you hear me?
She's
Are you
muted.
still there? Let's see if Becky's here. Becky, are you there?
I'm here.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Have a microphone problem.
Can you turn your microphone up a little bit?
It's not working right, I think.
Pardon me?
It's not working right.
I think you need a little more volume. Lean in and talk a little bit louder to be good.
Is that
You
better?
can scream at your house. We won't care.
Yeah.
The family might wonder what's going on. I'm the one that signed up for the Ultra, Jeff.
Oh, Becky signed up for an ultra. But here's a little bit about Becky's story. Becky came to me, a couple of months ago, and she was part of a group of things, and she was getting ready she was doing a marathon training plan, and I said, hey, I think you should trust our plan a little bit more than that plan, because I think we're going to be a little bit better for you. You're going to get a little bit more attention. Well, Becky put in a very, very solid training cycle. Was really, really fit, ready to go, and got sick on race day.
Hmm.
Right, Beck?
I felt like I died out there.
Yeah.
I hope nobody's eating. Everybody's in the yard vomiting.
Yeah. I'm still having a difficult time hearing you, Becky. You may have to speak up a little bit louder, because we won't pick you up on this end if you don't.
I said it was the worst feeling ever. I've never felt that bad.
Yeah, and it's sad, and it so here we have two athletes, and it really makes us look bad as coaches. But I wasn't Tori's coach for her DNF on this. That would not have never have happened. But here as a coach, and I was following Tori obviously, because Tori, even before I started working with her a couple of weeks ago, Tori was a friend, and I've known Tori for a little over a year maybe now, and she's a friend, and I would offer advice when I could. And when a DNF happens, as a coach, it shatters me. I mean, it shatters me. I just sit. The first thing I do, and in your case, Becky, first thing I'm doing is worrying about you. We're very fortunate that Ellen, another teammate, was there, and you were communicating with me on your phone. You were texting me, so at least I could talk to you and know what was going on, and help you through that moment. When when Tori had her issue, I didn't even realize that that her time was no longer any good. And but when I find those things out, I'm sure it's the same with Sherry. It's absolutely gut wrenching for us. And for me, I don't ever look. And someone said to me honestly, you don't ever apologize to me. Someone said, "I'm sorry, coach, I let you down." You don't let me down, because I feel just the opposite, that I've let you down. And then my job is to figure out what I did wrong, what went wrong, what we could have done differently. And if that's when those situations occur. And in yours, I mean, you got sick. There wasn't really anything we could do. And God bless you, because 2 days after going through the most horrendous experience of your life, you're telling me now you want to do another marathon and then an ultra.
I never said I was smart.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I never said I was smart.
No, trust me, none of us are. That's why we do this. But it was, and so now we're starting something new. We're going after an ultra and then another marathon that you're going to be running in the summer months, so it's going to be warm. So there's a whole different kind of acclimation process, and we've been talking about that today, because you had your first run in the heat today.
Yeah, running in the heat is horrible. I have to figure out how to adjust my pace.
Yeah, it's. Go ahead. Sherry, and I'm gonna let you go with that, because she said the bad word to me. Pace.
Why is that a bad word to you?
It's not about adjusting the pace. It's about adjusting your effort. And
it is, because you can't. Here, I'll take it, because I live here in Arizona, so I train in the heat. And when the heat comes, it is not about adjusting your pace. It's about adjusting your effort and watching your heart rate, because it is, and your pace is gonna slow. And it's because I've lived here long enough and I've trained here long enough that it's so funny to me, because every summer I feel like a slug, because I have to move slow, because based on my heart rate, it just skyrockets during the summer, during the hot months. But then as soon as that temperature turns and it cools off here, I feel like a superhero, because I've trained all summer long and trained at effort, watched my heart rate, I did heart rate training, and then the moment the temps cool and my body isn't worried about pumping blood to cool it down, it's like all that blood is available to go to the muscles, and I feel like a superhero when the temps cool. And it's, when you're training in the heat, it's all about monitoring your heart rate. It's not about paying attention to pace at all, because if I were to pay attention to pace when I train in the summer here, it would be such an ego demolisher, because you just have to train slow. So you can't pay attention to pace at all. It's all about effort and heart rate and not overheating.
Yeah, and so here's the flip side to that coin. I love running in the heat, and I have a weird body, and there's a couple of us on the team. Dean is this way as well. Dane loves to run in the heat. He can't run in the cold. And like me, my heart rate actually gets elevated higher in the winter in the cold than it does in the summer, because I don't get warm. Being having more muscle than brain. When my body doesn't get warm in the winter, so my heart is actually fighting harder to warm my body up than it has to cool my body down in the summer. And so I actually run better, and my effort levels generate more pace in the summer than they do in the winter. So I'm the flip side of that coin. Dane is the flip side of that coin. Dane just completely shuts down when it's cold. We had one of our, we went to Chicago a couple years ago, and he had to run, he had to wait around like an hour at the starting line. There was a delay or something. It was cold that morning, and he never fired. And, he had his worst marathon ever, 3:10 being his worst marathon, but we were going for something else, but he just couldn't fire. A couple of weeks ago, he was at a race, and it was so cold and rainy, his body shut down again. So it's funny how we have different reactions. Mm-hmm. When we have those different reactions, the training philosophy has to be the same. Adjust your effort level. to how your body's reacting. I run really, really slow in the winter. I mean, really, really slow. I look at my paces, like, you know, if I'm running 10, if my zone 2 in the winter is probably generating 920, 905, somewhere in there. Where in the summer, that I'm probably generating 810s, 815s in my zone 2. That's the difference for me.
There's a lot of benefits to training in the heat, Becky. You'll find that.
Yeah, and it's an acclimation, Becky. That's the thing. And trust me, you're not going to be there. There's very few freaks around like Dane and I who have this opposite reaction. If people do, but people do. But what I'm saying is the important thing is that your effort. You know, zone 2 is zone 2. It doesn't matter what the pace is. Zone 3 is zone 3. It doesn't matter what the pace is. You know, it's your heart is still doing the work. You're still getting the benefit from the effort. And then we pray that in August it's a little bit cooler on race morning, so you can go out and then you really see the benefits. Like Sherry Ann will tell you, she runs. You know, her pace is so off in the summer because her effort level is controlling her body heat. And then she races in the fall and she races these blistering races. It's like, ooh, you know, her heart doesn't even realize that it's doing anything because it's adjusted. And you have to acclimate, you have to be patient, you have to not worry about pace, you have to control efforts. Sometimes, you know, think about your perceived exertion, because a lot of times in the summer, your heart will race a little bit to cool your body down, and then it will resettle. You know, after it gets things cooled down a little bit, so you can think about, you know, what your perceived effort is as well. You know, the summer is a great time to really get the biofeedback systems all dialed in.
My problem is I notice that I still run at the same pace.
Pardon me?
My problem is I find I try to run at the same pace without realizing it. And then I have to stop, take breaks.
Yeah, and I think the important thing for you is just to take the P word out of your vocabulary. It's
I'm trying.
because you should, if you're reading my training schedule says zone 2. It doesn't say 8-10 miles. And again, you know, zone 2 is zone 2, and that's the effort of it. And I love it because I wish David Murphy was in here, because you guys all know David and the amazing runner that David is. And I probably can't tell you the last time David's done a speed workout or a tempo workout. He does nothing but run in zone 2 all the time. And last week he turned out a 19:30, 5K. Yeah, and that's all he does, because he really understands the benefits of the cardiovascular strength. And then, he can tune his legs up for a couple of days before the race with, some quick pickups and stuff, and he's ready to go. And I think that's the process. And if you look at the fast people on the team, and I say fast people, the people, everyone's faster than me, so the fast people on the team, they're the guys and the gals who have been around for a long time and have really dialed this system in, and they really have dialed the effort-based training in and understand it. And it's amazing that the benefits that they have over the course of years. Jenica and I were just talking about her marathon coming up in Eugene this weekend, and she wants to run a certain time, and I said, well, let's take a look at our workouts, and where were you heart rate wise at a 7:33 mile, and where are you at heart rate wise at an 8-minute mile? And we looked at it, and one was 149, 151 beats a minute, and the other one was 165 beats a minute, which is right in the middle of her zone 3. And the comment was, she goes, well, I can hold 165 beats a minute for a marathon. We've done that before. So that's what she's going to do. She's going to go out and race, and that's going to be the goal, to stay there, because that zone 3 effort will generate the pace she wants to run. And the good thing about that is, if she gets below that, she can adjust her effort level. If she starts to rise above that and isn't seeing any increase in speed, then we know that it's time to back it down a little bit, because it's just not going to happen. But that's the benefit of understanding what's going on with your heart rate when you're training. Hey there, Bex.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, so, and I scream this at people all the time, and I know it's hard, because we, as runners, everyone wants to run pace. And it just, you really need to embrace the effort, instead of the pace. Pace always takes care of itself in the end. If you put the efforts in and you get cardiovascularly strong, you're physically strong, you're cardiovascularly strong, go into your race fit, you'll generate the pace that you need to generate, and those numbers will show throughout the course of the training. You'll start to see that. And we have guys on a team like Dane. Dane calls me up. He just says two things: that I run 158 beats a minute and surge to 163 every 20 minutes. And I go, yeah, and that's race planning. We're done. I mean, he's so in tune with his efforts. That's race planning, and we're done. And when you can learn to train like that, when you can really dial in that effort, as you'll really start to race better. And you'll really start to race at and above your potential when that starts to happen.
So I need to start wearing my heart rate monitor.
Oh, Becky, that was awesome. Yeah, Becky, I will answer that for you. Yes, you do need to start wearing your heart rate monitor. And
I need to figure out how that works. I have to figure out how to connect it.
Oh. I think somebody needs to go revive Coach Jeff.
I have to tell you something, Becky. Here's the thing. Here's what I don't want you to do. I want you to wear your heart rate monitor, because that's how we learn how to understand the body. But I don't want you to wear the heart rate monitor and be looking at it every 30 seconds when you're running.
Right.
I want you to put it on, and I want you to go out there, and here's what you can do with the heart rate monitor. A lot of people don't realize. You can set it to beat at the upper end of your zone. You can set it to beat at any heart rate you want it to. And so if you get to that area where you start to exceed that heart rate effort, it'll beep and let you know. Then all you have to do is slow down a little bit and get the heart rate settled a little more. Because too many people, again, get caught up in looking at their watch all the time, and that's not a good way to train either, because that's no fun. So you go out and generate an effort, and you let the heart rate monitor record the effort, and we look at it afterwards and say, okay. Because I'm telling you, and it's funny, and I'll use Jenica again today, because when we were talking about her race plan today, she was a little hesitant about her goal time, because she said, I don't know if I can hold this pace that long. And I said, well, let's take a look at what your heart rate goes at that pace through training when you race. And when we did that, she was like, all of a sudden she had a whole new appreciation for what you do. She went, oh, I can run that heart rate for 26 miles. I've done that before. So now she knows that she has the confidence to run that pace, because it only generates a certain heart rate. Trust me, if you go out in a race and you're racing and your heart rate is racing the entire time, you're done before you know it. You might think you feel good and you're running along and the legs feel great and everything's going fine, but that internal clock is about to explode. You're going to explode. Because we don't shut down from the outside in unless we're hurt. We shut down from the inside out. Mm-hmm. And if you're racing at an elevated heart rate zone, a place that you shouldn't be, you'll shut down a lot sooner than you want. And so it's good to understand how that feels, and you get that understanding through the training process.
I will do my best. I will have my kids figure it out.
Well, that's what kids are good for.
Yeah.
Kids are really good for teaching us how to use Facebook and Twitter and TweetDeck and Instagram and all those other things, and heart rate monitors. So you bring them home from boarding school for a day to learn all that. and then off they go.
All right. I will wear it.
Thank you. See, something really good came out of the show tonight.
Yay!
Came out of the show tonight. Hey, who else is Tracy? Tracy, you still there? I don't know why I can't get Tracy on the show.
Yes, I'm here.
Ah, there you are. We can hear you. So, you're new to the team.
Yes.
And you just actually won a training program at one of David's races, right?
Yeah, he asked he offered it to me a little while ago, and I finally took him up on it.
Good. And you're training for
I'm actually training for the Bass Pro Marathon. It'll be my first full, and I've got it in my head that I'd like to do an ultra also.
Yeah. So where did this come from?
Being told I couldn't.
Ah, the great motivator.
Yeah.
I don't know your story, but I'll tell you a little story. About 4 or 5 years ago, I had a girl call me up, and she said, I need a coach. I said, okay. She said, I live in Texas, and no one will coach me. I said, what do you mean no one will coach you? She said, I've asked 5 different coaches down here to coach me, and they all tell me I'm too fat and I'm too slow. Mm. And I was devastated. I think even actually somewhere in my YouTube, I made like ages ago, I made a YouTube video about this conversation with this girl. And let's just suffice it to say that she went on to run that marathon. She went on to run 3 more marathons, a 50-miler and a 100-miler, and just continually got faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. And because that's the human spirit. I mean, the human spirit is you can accomplish what you want to accomplish. And if someone tells you that you can't do it, then you know what? You slap them in the face with your effort and your accomplishment, and you just go do it. And I'm very proud of you for saying, someone told you can't do it, that you're telling them that you can, and you're going out and doing it. So yay for you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And I will make sure that we help you get there. Rest assured that you will get to that marathon and you will get to that ultra. My name ain't Rumpelstiltskin. So, but let's talk about you, because I know a little bit about you physically. I know that you've had 7 knee surgeries.
Yeah, 7 on my left knee.
7 knee surgeries on one knee. And I know that you have a difficult time running for sustained periods of time without having pain. So you like to run walk.
Right. With my knee surgeries, they actually took all the muscles off my knee and moved them. So my kneecap still isn't stable, and it moves. So if I run for long periods of time, I find that my kneecap dislocates and hurts like crazy.
Yeah, so here's me at my most flexible. I'm in the process of writing a whole new run walk library, just because Becky has to have a run walk, and we don't have a run walk library because I'm not a big believer in the run walk system. But you have opened my eyes to the fact that okay, I need to have a run walk library in place, because someone like you obviously physically needs to do a run walk, or you're not going to be successful. And then if you're not successful, it's my fault, because I was too pig-headed to change things. So rest assured that I'm in the process of building that library, so your workouts will be in accordance. But the one thing I really want you to consider, and one of the things I have against run walk, the Galloway run walk system in particular, is the fact that people don't run aerobically. They run the run portions too fast, and then they walk. And because they run the run portions too fast, they don't develop cardiovascularly as well as they can. So in my run walk things, you're going to hear me say, run walk at an easy effort, and I put everything in there now, effort level and zone. So it's going to be run walk at an easy effort or a zone 2, and then walk, because you can still develop your cardiovascular system that way and become stronger cardiovascularly by building a base and developing the cardiovascular system. But I'll have most of that done before next week's schedule comes out for you, so it will be there.
I really appreciate that.
And then the ultra is when? What's the ultra distance?
I was looking at the Frisco race for next year.
Plenty of time. Good. Let's go back. Wait, is Moffitt still here? Are you still there?
Yes, Coach, I'm still here.
We forgot to tell people how much of an increase you had in your 2,300-yard swim in 2 weeks.
How much of an increase?
Yeah.
I don't know. What's the increase? I'm not looking at my numbers.
Well, I remember you in 2 weeks we did 2,300 yards 1 week, 2,300 2 weeks later, and I think that the elapsed time for the workout was what? Was it like 11 minutes for some reason? I want to think.
No, it wasn't 11. It was just over 4.
4 minutes. But we were swimming what? Almost. How many seconds per 100 faster?
7.
Yeah. See, in 2 weeks. So we're gonna shatter your goal time in V's bottom. I said it right. V's bottom.
V's bottom.
V's bottom. And I would also like to say that Tori Moffitt is one of the biggest supporters of the triathletes on our team. She goes to like every race in the southern United States in Sherpas for people.
That's right. I'll be in Texas next weekend for any teammates that are out there. I'll be there.
I know. You will. I know. That's what reminded me. Last year you were in Arizona. You went with Christina, the Sherpa for Christina. You're going to Texas. And what else have you done? I mean, every time I talk to you, you're flying somewhere else to be someone's backpack.
I Sherpa for ultra runners, which is probably my favorite thing to do. But yeah, I go to a lot of ultra races.
Yeah, it's amazing. Tori's all over the place. She's so cool. All right, so now Brockman's in the chat room, so I guess we're gonna have to talk to Brockman.
Guess we're gonna have to.
We're gonna have to talk to Brockman. So now for all you guys who think that I'm not flexible and I'm lecturing you about not getting down on yourself when you miss a workout or whatever. Okay, Patty Brockman is in the room, and I'm here to tell you, Patty Brockman has an issue with missing workouts.
Patty, you have to unmute yourself.
You have to unmute yourself, Patty.
Am I being thrown under the bus?
Oh, I don't know. So Patty's training, just so people know, Patty's training for her first Ironman.
Yeah.
And how does it go for you mentally when you miss a workout?
When I miss a workout, I want to bite the head off a live chicken. No, I feel like if I miss a workout, I project forward to my race and I picture myself really struggling and thinking, oh my God, if I only hadn't missed those workouts, I would have done so much better. And so I go to the negative, yeah. And rather than saying, oh, I guess my body really needed this, or God forbid my schedule didn't allow it, my natural tendency is to say, oh my God, it's going to make me suck on race day.
Yeah. 8 months out from her Ironman, she missed a swim, and all of a sudden her Ironman swim went from more than 20 minutes to I don't know if I'll make the cutoff.
You know, I remember feeling like that my first year of racing. I do remember feeling like I couldn't miss a workout. Like it was going to, you know, really have a negative impact on my race day. So I can completely relate to that. But I can tell you now that I'm on the other side many times from 5-time Ironman is missing a workout here and there does not make any difference. In fact, in a lot of ways, sometimes it's really good for you to every once in a while miss a workout. And it's the consistency, though. I mean, so if you're consistently missing workouts, then we have a problem. Then we need to reassess and make some adjustments here and there. But every once in a while, if you have to cut a workout short or can't get it in, it's so not the end of the world. But I remember being completely anal my first year. Like, I did not want to miss anything. Like, I wanted to do everything to a T and do it perfectly because that's my personality. And if I didn't do it right, I don't know that I wanted to bite the head off of a live chicken like you, Patty.
I have a lot of stress in my life. I need to work out.
But I do remember, I can relate to that. And I think that's what, I'd like to think that's what makes me a good coach. But it's also the benefits that you can gain from listening to your body and allowing yourself the privilege to miss a workout here and there is so beneficial sometimes, because sometimes you don't know it until after the fact. A lot of times you don't. But yeah, sometimes it's just the schedule. I mean, because the thing is we're not professional athletes. We're people that have families and have jobs and are doing a lot of tasks throughout the day, and sometimes those tasks get the better of us, and you just have to kind of chalk it up sometimes and go, okay.
Yeah, and I think, and that's really great advice, and I think it's great advice for everyone, because, and the thing about it is there's a communication process. There's a to and fro. And since Tori's here, I'll use her as an example. And I'm not talking about anyone who's not here. After our first week, Tori, with her schedule, she looked at her second week. She said, "When am I going to have a day off during the week?" And my normal response to that is, with a lot of my athletes, well, your swim days are days off. But Tori was saying that to me, and one thing I learned a few years back is when an athlete's talking to you about days off, there's a reason. And so, instead of saying to Tori, well, Tori, your swim days are your days off, I said, okay, what you normally do. And, she normally likes to have one day off a week. And so it's my responsibility, not her responsibility, to make the adjustment in her schedule that allows her to have that one day off a week. And then I have to figure out that, that's my job. Her job is to communicate to me what she's feeling, what she needs, and then my job is to make what she's feeling and what she needs work. And, and I think there aren't a lot of coaches out there who are like us and do that because they just throw up schedules and they don't talk to their athletes. But when an athlete says to me, why don't I have a day off? What they're really saying to me is, I get tired if I don't have a day off, and I'm okay because I can make an Ironman work in 5 days. He doesn't have to have 7 days. I've done it, and I can tell you, if you do it the right way, they'll be just as successful. And we talk about the way different athletes respond to the stresses, the way different athletes recover, and the way different athletes handle stress and recovery, and they're all so different. And so we have to be very mindful of that, and that's a communication process. And it's the athlete's responsibility, and Tori took that responsibility and said, Coach, I need a day off in the week. And it's my responsibility to say, okay, and I'll make everything work. You just tell me what your schedule is, and I'll make it work. That's my job.
Mm-hmm. So, Patty, are you doing better at adapting to missing a workout here and there, or does it still drive you crazy?
Something's wrong with Jeff's head. He's shaking it. I actually am kind of turning a little corner with that. One thing that I have realized is that with my schedule, with life, with anybody's life in the way, there's going to be times when I'm not going to do all of my workouts. But what I found a couple weeks ago was the way I was structuring them is I was starting to consistently, the one I was missing was like the running component. And so I had to sort of switch it around and go, all right, well, this time I'm going to do my run first, and if I have to miss something, it's going to be the swim because I don't want to drop that thing. So I'm kind of pre-planning for the inevitable life getting in the way and making sure that I at least get them all rounded out and get a variety. But, the other part of that is like anything else, unless you're able to recharge your batteries, doing something every day miserably is not going to be beneficial in the long run. So you might as well take that day off, recharge, and be back with a full battery the next time to be able to completely do your workout and have it be beneficial.
Yeah, and that's so well put, because we talk about there's a couple of things that happen in a training cycle. You add stresses to the workout, and your body goes into a catabolic state where it's breaking down. That isn't just a physical state; that's a mental state as well. And so when you have the recovery, you start to come up, and everything starts to be clear. And if you're having a bad day and you force yourself through it, and then you force yourself through another bad day and another bad day, you're mentally you're catabolic the whole time. You're just sinking and sinking and sinking, and you're not getting any recovery or any repair. And you need to come up. And people need to understand that, okay, I need to come up, so I need to take a day off. They can't say, look, just because it's on your schedule, you know, you can call me, you can call Sherry Ann, you can text me, you can text Sherry Ann and say, hey, I don't have it today. Can I change? And we'll change it. But that's, you know, we're not mind readers and we don't know that. So it has to be brought to our attention. And like I said before, then it's our responsibility to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's one other thing I want to say about that as I'm learning, because it's sometimes I'm kind of like a yellow lab. You know, you have to train me with a 2x4. But in times past when I've trained with other people and I've made sure I've hit every single solitary workout exactly how I was told to do it, I ended up getting injured and running through injury and training through injury and making my injuries worse, and then having to take off a long time to recover because I wasn't willing to listen or able to listen to the body. And Sherry Ann, when we first started, you had me on a three-week build and then a 1 week kind of recovery week. And after a couple months, we realized that that didn't work for me because of me as an individual. So we were on a 2 week and then a 1 week recovery and then 2 week build and so forth. And that is working so much better for me. And other people might be able to do the 3 week, you know, whatnot. So I just really appreciate that we were able as a component, as a team component together, to be able to recognize that, see it, and then make the adjustment. And then now I feel like I'm moving forward much better.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is about communication. I mean, if the athlete isn't communicating with the coach, then it's kind of difficult to make sure that the athlete's getting the most out of their training.
Yeah. Logging is important. Talking to your coach.
It really is. And you know, it's one of the things, you know, Tori messages me every day. I think that's great. And I love that because I always know what's going on with her that way, and it makes my job so much easier. But I have so many people who feel like they're being intrusive if they message me, and I'm like, please, message me. You know, message me, call me, whatever you want. Talk to me as what your Patty will tell you that, you know, I don't ever not take a call, answer a message, or do anything from any athlete who calls because it's my job. You know, I'm here. That's what I do full time. And when people say, well, I don't want to, you know, I feel like I don't want to waste your time. You're not wasting my time. If you have an ingrown toenail, tell me about it. I mean, that's what I'm here for, and that's what Sherry Ann is there for. That's what we do, and so it's you know. Yeah.
I don't want to hear about ingrown toenails.
No, well, you don't want to hear about it. But you know, that's what we do, and so there really has to be a strong communication process. The athlete has to be willing to talk, and the coach has to be willing to listen, and the coach has to be willing to be flexible. I mean, there's times where I'm going to say, yes, no, you can't miss this workout. You know, we're at a point where we can't miss this workout because we don't have time to make it up, or this is a really critical moment. But we can adjust the day of the workout if we need to. I mean, there's just times where that's going to have to, it's going to have to be in order, you know, a lot of you have very lofty goals, Ironman, half Ironman, 100 miles, 50 miles. Those are lofty goals, and there are just times when you have to have that certain workout to reach your goal.
You did that to me going into Zion.
Yeah.
I didn't do a 40-miler because I was short on time. And I was, because I have kids, and I save those long workouts for the weekend. And you point blank told me, you're like, you have to do that next weekend. You cannot miss that workout.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's just times when that happens, and that's, you know, suck it up buttercup time and just go get it done. But, you know, most of the time throughout a 20-week cycle, there's flexibility, and there's times where you can move stuff around, and there's times when you can take stuff out. But it has to be done constructively. You know, I don't like any of my athletes moving workouts unless they talk to me about it. You know, I'll move the workout because there's a pattern there, and if you break that pattern, you can end up injured or too fatigued. And I would rather say, okay, well, if you can't make this workout, I'll switch it this way, or you switch it this way. But you know, I would rather they tell me than just switching on their own. Say, well, I got it in, coach, and then one day they were running 6 by 7 minute intervals and followed it up with 200s at VO2 max because they squished together 2 workouts like that. And that's a recipe for disaster because I can make a decision on which to take out and which to leave in and what days to do it. So that's the great thing about the communication process is it helps us it helps me help you.
Mm-hmm.
So we're running long. Thanks everyone for coming on the show and sharing with us and being candid with us. I love that. Jan, you have anything you want to add?
No, I love it when people come and share.
Yeah. We should do that more often. So if anyone has any questions, I'm at coach@prsfit.com. Sherry and I will answer your questions, coach@prs.com. The website is prsfit.com. My number is 720-400-2131. If you don't like me, have something to say, please call. I'm very charming to talk to when you do that. As always, be healthy.
Train smart.
Have fun, and we'll see you next week.